This is going to be a very interesting video, okay? Because I'm going to talk about how to actually scale your brand. Okay. What I mean by that is the biggest thing I've seen. Obviously, I talk to a lot of brand owners. Is they do the wrong things and they think those stuff will actually get them to scale to their goals. Which let's just say the universal number of 5K a month, 10K a month, stuff like that, right? But in fact, those are the stuff that you should be focused on once you've actually hit 5K a month. So I'm going to go into the stuff and the foundations you actually need to build to actually for you to understand and do actually to know what to do to actually scale your brand specifically in terms numbers wise. Okay, this is the whole point where we start a business, right? To understand what we need to do, right, to make money. Okay. The first thing that we need to work out is the actual unit economics of your clothing brand to actually make profit, because we don't want to have a brand where we scale to 10K a month and we get 1K profit. Like that, like 10K a month sounds cool, but at the end of the day, it's like, where's the cash flow, right? So as we scale and add complexity to the business, we want to make sure everything's working at the scale we want, okay? So I'm literally just going to give you the SOP here, okay? So the basic principles that you need to work out, okay? Number one is obviously the overall product margins, okay? So let me explain this in depth. So product pricing is very important, okay? So let me use this example, okay? So if we have a high ticket product in this example, in this scenario, I'm gonna assume that a high ticket product is $100 plus, okay? USD 80, whatever it is, right? You wanna use, okay? For high ticket products, we generally want a 70 to 80% gross margin. For example, if a product is $100, it should cost no more than $25 to produce, okay? So for a low ticket product I classifies as anywhere between under $100, okay? We want a 4 to 5x markup with an 80% margin, okay? So for example, a hoodie that costs $15 to make should be marked up as at least $75 for retail, okay? So that 5x markup, 4 to 5x. Ideally, obviously, you want to look at 5x, obviously more the better, but to understand this greater as well, you need to do your market research in terms of pricing, okay? Especially around your niche, okay? What are your brand competitors pricing at? Is price actually match the perceived value over cost, okay? So once you're working out product margins, you also want to work out the unit economics of your manufacturers, but also look at the your competitors as well before you make a final decision. That's very important as well, okay? And the reason I put so much emphasis on analyzing competitors is because especially in your niche, is quite frankly, they have the same ICP as you, right? So we're actually trying to sell to the similar or almost the same individual, right? And if they're buying from that brand, obviously the price and the scale and the complexity they have works, right? So we need to learn from that as well, okay? So product margin wise, these are the very principles we have, okay? So even before considering ads or overhead, each sale should contribute approximately $70 to $80 per 100 high ticket product, $60 per 75 low ticket product, okay? Okay, cool. So I'm going to go into the actual SOPs for the ads, okay? This is going to be super important. We need to work this out after we work out the product margins, because again, we want that bigger vision, okay? We have to understand to scale a brand to 5K, 10K, whatever it is. We need to be in the position where we run ads. If not, it's going to be very difficult, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna try simplify this whole process, and this is what I've done. Obviously, I took the part of the SOP and put it simplified. Okay, so for example, a high ticket product example, I'm gonna use the same example as I've used above. Okay, excuse me. So retail price is $100, meaning cost of goods is $25, which leaves us at a 75% margin. Gross profit per unit equals $75, right? That means break-even ad spend per unit gross profit equals $75, which leaves us as a break-even return of ad spend of 1.33, okay? I'm gonna leave how I've actually calculated that, because instead of you manually calculating it, I use it website. Okay, so I'm gonna drop the website link below, okay? Which leads this basically, so for the high ticket, right, it leads to a minimum return of ad spend of 1.3x, likes to break even on high ticket products. Meaning, if we sell this high ticket product, okay, right, and we achieve a 1.4 ROAS, that means we're profiting. Okay, so this is so important. This is why we work out the ad data first, right? So anywhere below 1.33, when we actually run the ads, that means we're actually losing money on actually moving this product, okay? So low ticket product example, obviously retail price is $75, which leaves us at an 80% margin. Gross profit per unit is $60. The break-even ad spend per unit equals gross profit equals $60, which leaves us at a break-even ROAS of 1.25, which is absolutely beautiful. Okay, that is the exact unit economics I want when we're actually looking at a brand ad account and in terms of scale, because we have so much room to scale. Okay, for the scale, this leads us in a perfect situation, as we can actually have our target ROAS at 2.5 for scaling and have lots of room for scaling. Okay, let me explain further. So ideally for brand, for break-even ROAS, we want ideally anywhere from 1.1 to maximum 1.6, okay, which leads us to a target ROAS. Okay, and what I mean by target ROAS is basically a ROAS we set before running ads for scale, once we're before vertically scaling, or to be in the position where we can put more money back in. Okay, so 1.1, 1.6, ideally we want to one-up it. So for example, if our target ROAS is 1.5, right, our break-even ROAS 1.5, that means our target ROAS will be 2.5, which is healthy, right? So in this situation, we have lots of room if we set it for 2.5, right? So it's healthy, because ideally 1.25, it could be 2.25 for the target ROAS for scaling, which is very healthy. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, just shoot me a message on Instagram. Okay, so after we've worked out the unit economics for this first, if you're actually serious about growing the brand, every penny you should be invested into your brand creatives at the start. Literally, do not waste your money on ads if you don't have good creatives. Do not waste your money on agencies. Do not waste your money on Google ads, anything at the start, okay? Your creative development as a brand is gonna be so important, okay? Especially in 2025, okay? Understand that a single well-performing content piece can continue generating sales months later. This is the biggest high leverage task you could be doing as a brand owner to actually upscaling your brand, okay? Which is improving brand creatives, okay? And it's not just about, hey, if I can get a high quality photo shoot and that's that, right? That's not what I mean. There's multiple channels, multiple ways, multiple distributions that we actually need to focus on, okay? So the 3 creative foundations that you need to focus on before actually splitting into different verticals. If you don't know what verticals are, they're basically different creative styles when it comes to distributing between your website, ads, and organic. Okay, so number 1 is actually focusing, creating creatives that focus on the quality and the design of the product. Okay, number 2 is brand theme and brand image. Okay, especially if you have a collection dropping, you want to focus on actually, does your creatives match the brand collection theme, stuff like that, right? Number 3, this is probably my most important thing when it actually comes to making content. The start is trust / building, humanizing the brand. Okay, so basis and stuff like that. Okay, so if we look at here, we're splitting into different verticals and distribution channels. Okay, so for quality and design of the product, we have product flat lays and e-com photos. Okay, for actual brand theme and brand image, we have high quality photo shoots plus video shoots. All right, so these are very different to e-com photos. E-com photos are basically the flat lays you see on the e-com website, right? Those mock-up photos. This is what I mean. Okay, so we can distribute it to the website. All right. Number 2 is commercial video shoots. All right, high quality commercial video shoots. And number 3 is real content for Instagram and growing the Instagram, because single-handedly, if you have a real structure, we're gonna grow your Instagram, right? Which is gonna be very important in building trust, especially. Trust / humanizing the brand, model shots, again, humanizing the brand. Number 2, lifestyle imagery using UGC, models. This is more to models, okay, which caters towards the brand theme, okay, and this lifestyle imagery is more towards the trust, actually, because we use UGC and your we try to get UGC. That's ideally your client ICP, so your ideal client profile. Okay, so after we understood what creatives we need to make and how to shoot them as well, we need to be in the position where we can actually build trust and small organic community within Instagram. Okay, so 3 main things. Cool. Number 1 is build some anticipation through your product. This mostly is actually going to come through your reels, right? And your middle of funnel posts. Okay, so your middle of funnel post is actually going to be your, photo shoots and stuff like that, flat lays, okay? And your reels is actually going to be a top of funnel, okay, which is actually going to get the main attention, and then at least 10% of it is actually going to go to the middle funnel, okay? But we want to build anticipation within it, okay? Number 2 is building trust, highlights of reviews, okay? If you don't have reviews, I understand, because you're first starting out. Have different faces, different UGC. Obviously, if you send out packages, you want different faces on, I guess, the packages to UGC. You want them to review the products as well and put that in the highlights, okay? Having high quality creatives on the actual page layout, okay? I always use an analogy, right? Let's just say we have 2 Instagram brands, okay? And let's just say both have, 3,000 followers, okay? And brand 1 has full of just AI images, no face of the brand, no models, and just, flat lays. And then brand 2 has, high quality photo shoots, high quality, lifestyle pictures. What brand are you going to trust more? It's obviously brand 2, okay? So don't be stupid and build trust, okay? Number 3, followers are important. Punch out reels. That's the easiest way, and then boost them. That's the easiest way to grow followers in 2025, okay? Okay, after that, after we build a decent organic following, the first thing we actually want to do is not get into Google Ads, not do any of that bullshit. Just get into Meta Ads straight away. It's going to be the easiest to actually get your first sale, and it's actually going to be the cheapest, because again, number 1, CPM is still the cheapest compared to TikTok, Google, Pinterest, all that. And number 2, it has a good system, okay? I can guarantee you Meta is going to find your ICP better than any of the advertising platforms you start up with, okay? So let me explain further, okay? Number 1, for you as well, you always want to have a mindset of testing creatives 24/7, okay? Testing creatives doesn't stop, right? So you want to have an ad set, right, where you always test different creative verticals. And I will test vertical at a time, so flat lay at a time, ecom photo at a time, etc., okay? Number 2, obviously, use these data to improve, because once we actually have creatives that you're satisfied with, this isn't going to be end all be all where we just stop, okay? So this process never ends, okay? So use metadata to improve creatives, okay? Nothing is going to be perfect from the start, understand that. Number 3, your goal here is not to scale your brand to 10, 15, whatever bullshit it is, right? Goal here is to just build a 3x client acquisition channel, okay? Distributing / scaling the right way. So 3x acquisition channel, meaning 3x ROAS, okay? So for example, if you spend $100 in the month, okay, we want to get $300 back. If you have more questions on that, just give me a message on Instagram, okay? Okay, after this, we want to dial down on the actual customer experience, okay? So there's 3 main things I've seen the biggest impact when starting out, okay? Shipping expectation, customer inquiries, and product presentation. Shipping expectation is going to be super important, okay? Do not lie, okay? If it's actually going to take you 2 weeks to ship it, don't say it's going to take 2 days. Just because, again, you want to get them to sale. That's bad. We don't want to ruin your brand ramp, okay? So if it takes 2 weeks, just say 2 weeks, okay? But ideally, we want shipping time to be anywhere from 2 to 4 days, okay? And I don't like the pre-order method because, again, it takes too long. It doesn't build the trust from the brand early on, and we need that trust, right? Number 2 is customer inquiry. If anyone gives you an email, if anyone gives you a DM, message them as fast as you can within a 5-minute time span, because that's one leverage we can create over the bigger brands that are not already doing it, right? So that's sort of what can we do to sort of separate ourselves. That's what you can do, okay? Number 3 is product presentation. Obviously, how you ship it out, okay? The box you use, okay? Make sure it's nice, make sure they have a good customer experience, especially when they're opening the product. The more unique this is, the better presentation it is. The more UGC the better the UGC content is going to be, right? The better your reels are going to be. So it funnels down, okay? Now, last bit of things I want to talk about real quick. So 2 things, obviously website. Through our website data, we want anywhere from a basic conversion rate of 1%, okay? So that's the target we want, okay? Baseline. Number 2 is email SMS flows. Obviously, if we get cash flow, we want to try to optimize, so building sign up page, flows, stuff like that. And number 3, the most important thing is we want to build LTV over your small customers, so lifetime value. How do we do that? Email SMS flows, customers, experiences, and overall just product, I guess, having a solid product, okay? So yeah, hopefully this makes sense. I think the most important thing you should take out of this is the unit economic breakdown, the basic principles you need to work out before you start, going out there and running ads. Okay.